member of this golf club, and I haven't had far to come, but your dedication is just exemplary. And when I have visited in the past, I've always come away inspired that there are businesses, there are people getting up early, working late into the night to make the all-important Enfield. And taking on the role of mayor has been very interesting, because I don't know if you follow local politics, but it wasn't a done deal. I haven't had a year to plan, and it literally was cometh the hour, cometh the woman. I got the phone call, it was like, oh okay, I'll fit that into my life. But one of the things that I noticed, because it was such an unexpected moment in my life, you mentioned the word Christmas. Have you ever been to some of these illumination walks now that are happening over Christmas? Absolutely, highly recommend. Went to the one at Kenwood, and I went to the one in Blenheim Palace. Gorgeous. And this massive tree, big oak tree, covered in lights, and then out of it were coming streams of lights. It was all music, it was gorgeous. And on the day that I became the mayor, I got a glimpse of my tree and my network, because it was so unexpected. My tree was suddenly spotlit. Everybody's phones who knew me went absolutely ballistic. It was all over the news. I mean, famous within the borough of Enfield, but it was not many moments in your life where you get to see just how many people you've interconnected with and how far your ecosystems go. And I have to say that each and every single one of you listening to all your businesses, I need to speak to so-and-so, I want to speak to so-and-so, you all have these networks. They are there, they're very deeply buried underneath them. Be of faith that they're there and that you are able to call on them and be supportive, because it's never been harder to be in business as it is right now. We are being battered. That £40 million that's been laid, 40 billion that's been laid on us is hurting. It's hurting all of us. And I'm spending the year being apolitical, which is interesting. My job is to cut the ribbons, eat the cake, and meet the children, and it's been delightful. But in doing so, I've encountered some new ways of thinking. For example, there's a new business in Edmonton called, it's a contact centre. So they've taken the really challenging issue of parents estranged, in prison, foster carers, where do they meet? And they've given them 5-star hotel-like services where you can book a room for autistic children, children with care. And I just thought, that's really good. That's really interesting that you're taking it away from a very sterile environment where no child wants to be, and it's already challenging, and adding in. And I'm just so impressed with your Slacks. That must have been a nightmare coming up with the website, but wonderful work. You know, I know just how hard it is to create a product, to bring it to market, etc. And well done to the IT. I thought the stirring of the actual making of it was very important. So bravo. So as the first citizen, my job is to go out and promote. I've actually spent some time thinking about my charities, and that in itself has been interesting. And I relied on the young people of Chase Community. So there's a charity, it's all very circular. I've been in the back of everybody's charities in Charity Commission. I've learned a lot. But the 6 charities were put forward by young people, and they were all about supporting themselves. And actually the charity that won the £1,000 was a charity where the young people under 25 got support for substance abuse and addiction. And one thing that came across quite strongly was gambling addiction. We're in a stage where the algorithms are feeding you whatever you want, and that really struck me. So I'm taking Insight Enfield forward as one of my charities. Another charity is One to One, which do amazing work with autistic, vulnerable, physically learning difficulties, adults, young people. And one of the things that I really took away from that is that when they did their choir, which we will be doing choirs again, glorious, over 50% of their service users now got to that choir independently. They got the bus. They managed to get there on their own. And that's progress. We don't want to keep people behind. We want to be moving people forward. So that's wonderful. And then my third, which I think is sort of like the wild card, but I'm so impressed with it. We have stories to tell in Enfield. We have a lot of history, huge amount of history. And it's White Webb's Museum of Transport. And they are wonderful. They're in a disused Victorian pump room. They have treasures if you ever get to go and see it. It's not just the front, there's a back. They have steam engines, steam trains, buses, World War II memorabilia, toys. It's just glorious, and they're always there to help us. They're there for the parade of lights, they're there for their pageant, etc., and they get no help. So that's very exciting. And on Wednesday, I was fortunate enough to open the Museum of Secrets in Trent Park, which if you haven't had a chance to go to, again, that has been sheer tenacity and brilliance from the trustees. And in 1939, Philip Sassoon died. He had pneumonia, and he was a very important man, incredibly wealthy. One of the nicest things, I think, is that in his walkway he installed pink marble columns just for the wisteria. Well, that's next level wealth. But in 1939, the British government decided to requisition Mansion House and create Camp 11, which was the top secret house where they housed the German officials, and commenced the listening project. Now, you and I all know what happened and how it all worked out. But if you imagine 1939, they had no idea. And from then they were finding out the secrets about the V1, the V2s, about the blockhouse, which is, I've visited near Calais, where they were launching the V1, V2s from. Just amazing. And when I was there was a family walking around clutching a black and white picture of this young woman who had been only 18 or 19 when she was a listener. And they were her daughters, her grandchildren, and her great-grandson. And she had not told them she was a listener until she was 80, and she died age 83. And then downstairs in the basement, there was a German man whose father had been a prisoner of war there. And the stories are only just coming out. They're only just going forward. And I genuinely think the work that's gone into this Museum of Secrets is going to be our own Churchill War Rooms, it's going to be our Bletchley Park, and it's something to be celebrated. Go and have a look. It is amazing. They've got an amazing shop, amazing cafe, but that is enterprise. They've not come for any council funding, they've not come from any public money. It's come in from people who are tenacious and volunteering, so something to celebrate. For me, going forward, I do need you. I need anyone who's golfers, anyone who wants to be a golfer. I'm organising a charity golf day here on Tuesday, 29th of September, and I would love for you to give me some 4 balls to turn up. It's going to be really interesting. I've got a big network myself. I had a moment to see my own network. I have a great network, and I would love to see you there. From a personal level, my own team, My Supple Feet Clinic, has been running without me. They have been amazing. My team have stepped up and they've got it covered. I now have the Mayor's office talking to my secretary, and as long as they can interweave, then some patients will still be seen and patients are still going forward. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. I'm very conscious that I'm only in the early days. But I have to say, being a business owner and having this opportunity come to me, and obviously I've got involved in politics because I got frustrated with things that I was seeing around me. So I am the local ward councillor for Town Ward. So it all comes together, and I would say that any of you, especially the young, I'm very impressed that you come to something like this. I wish I'd come to something like this when I was so young. It would have changed my life, genuinely. And what I'm saying to my young girls, my brownies, is you're going to be mayor one day. And I'll say that to you because the mayor changes every year, and there are 32 mayors across London. Mayor training was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. I am now a member of the chain gang. This is actually the travelling chain. It's not the gold one. The gold one goes with the security. But each and every single person needs to think about engaging in community. Everybody needs to be standing and looking to see. So you are already personifying that. You turn up week on week, early mornings. This is lovely time to come. But you're always there, making sure, and you represent so many more people and so much further than you could possibly imagine. So bravo to you. I'd be so delighted to take it forward. I know Gary.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm certainly.
I beg your pardon. I've been starting to do the old-fashioned at-homes. So I'm having morning coffees in the parlour, having afternoon teas, gathering people together. And I've been so excited to see some of the moments happening where people say, I needed to speak to you. And finally, for the first time in years, we are having the German delegation visit us here in Enfield. So we are twinned with Gladbeck in Germany, Hedrick in Greece, I'm crucified that, I apologise, and Courbevoie in France. We don't really use the other 2 twins, but Gladbeck Germany take twinning very seriously. They take Enfield very seriously. They know about us. They have a road, they have a brass plaque. When you go into their civic centre, Enfield is everywhere. and for the first time in about 15 years, the German delegation is coming to us 16th to 18th of October. I'll be hosting a civic reception, I'll be taking them around Enfield, and in the creating of the itinerary, we have 40 Hall, Middleton, Cable Manor, we can take them to the Museum of Secrets, we can take them to Meridian Water, Enfield Lock, Enfield Island Village, Dugdale, show them Roman coffins. We have so much to be proud of. We can go into the City of London and we can have a walk around green spaces. We really do have so much to be proud of here in Enfield. So I'm very proud to be the Mayor of Enfield. I'm inspired and listening to all of you. It's been wonderful, and thank you very much for having me.